Hello, friends and family. Welcome to Come Sit at My Table. I'm Tom. My wife, Melissa, is behind the camera, and we are so happy that you have come to watch our video. Today, we are making a side item that really does not have a quote recipe. I'm just going to show you the method we use for baking sweet potatoes. Now, actually, the method we use to bake sweet potatoes is exactly the same way we bake a regular white potato, like an Idaho potato. We do the same thing. The method that I use for doing these potatoes came from three sisters. They were elderly women. They were older. And they ran a restaurant in Winchester, Kentucky. It was way out kind of in the country, and it was on a farm in an old log house. And I'm going to tell you, they had some of the best food that I have ever eaten. One of the things they had that I just thought was fantastic were their potatoes. They had baked potatoes and baked sweet potatoes. And so after we had eaten there for quite a while, I finally asked one of the sisters, "What's your secret to your potatoes?" They were so creamy, so delicious. It was just, there was a difference in their potatoes and the potatoes we got in other restaurants. When you cut the potato open and opened it up, it was almost like cream inside. They were just fabulous. And she said, "Well, I'll tell you, because it's very easy. You bake the potato on 350 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour. Then you turn them down to 170 degrees and let them bake low and slow for several hours." Now, she did tell me that the bigger the potato, the longer you had to bake them at 170. So normally, when we do potatoes, we get fairly large potatoes. I usually do two because there are two of us. But when we have really big potatoes, whether they're white potatoes or sweet potatoes, Melissa and I usually divide one, and then we save the second one for another meal. But we were at the Findlay Market in Ohio, and we found fresh sweet potatoes. They aren't very big. They're kind of small compared to most that we bake. So I'm probably not going to bake these quite as long as I normally would a larger potato. You're going to have to judge the size of your potato and determine how long you need to bake it. I will probably do this for about 45 minutes on 350, turn it down to 170, and let it bake for maybe 2 hours. And then I will check it. You know it's done when and let me say, you're going to wrap it in aluminum foil, and I'll show you how to do that. But you're not going to unwrap it to check it. Through the foil, you're just going to squeeze it. And if it's soft, and right now these are hard as a rock, but if you squeeze it and it's soft and mushy, you know it's done. If I was doing a really large sweet potato, like most sweet potatoes are, or a large white potato, I would bake it at 170 for about 3 hours and check it, and then maybe let it go to 4 hours. With it being set at 170, you can let it bake for quite a while. If it was at a higher temperature, you'd have to be careful because it would overbake and dry out. But at 170, there's some leeway there. You can let it sit in the oven. Now, let's talk about things you need to do and things you should not do with your potatoes before you bake them. With a white potato, there are going to be eyes, and if they have started to sprout, if you can see the little sprouts where they're starting to put off shoots, you've got to take those off. Those have to come off there. A sweet potato, on the other hand, is going to have these little root-like things on them. I don't know if you can see that or not, Melissa. Can you see them? They're almost like little hairs that are coming out of there. Those have to come off there. So what you want to do is just get hold of them as close to the skin as you can and just kind of pinch them off. I don't know if you can see that on my finger or not, but you just want to get rid of those. So there are several on this one. The one I've already done had very few. It only had like 2 or 3 on it. But this potato has several. So we have to get those off there.
They're not very appetizing either.
No, it's not like they would hurt you, but they just, they don't look good.
Food should be aesthetically pleasing.
You do not want to take a knife and cut these out. Let me tell you why. A lot of people, I'm checking it just to make sure I got them all. A lot of people take a knife or a fork and pierce their potatoes before they bake them. Don't. There's no reason to do that. I had a friend one time that said, oh, if you don't pierce it with a fork, it will explode in the oven. Well, I've been baking potatoes for about 50 years, and I've never had one explode. There's one more I missed right there. I've never had one explode in the oven, and I don't think I ever will. But the reason you don't want to pierce the skin is that every time you poke a hole in that skin, you're making an opening for the moisture inside to turn to steam and come out. And if the moisture doesn't stay inside the potato, it comes out, you're going to be left with a really dry, grainy, mealy potato. It's not going to be creamy, it's not going to be smooth, it's going to be bad. And I've kind of decided that's why so many restaurants have not very appetizing baked potatoes. Because you don't want to pierce the skin, you want to find potatoes that have no bad places in them. Because you sure don't want to be digging out bad places from your potato and making holes in the skin. So find some that are in good shape, that don't have any bad places, and nothing needs to be cut out of there. Here's another little one. And like I said, it's not going to hurt if you leave one on there or something, it's just not very appetizing. Now, in order to do these, you have to wash them. So just bring them to your sink and scrub them good. Now, I've got a little brush that we use here, and I just scrubbed the whole potato. These are really clean. I really feel like whoever harvested these kind of cleaned them before they sold them, because I can't see one speck of dirt on here, but I'm going to make sure. So I'm just scrubbing the potatoes, making sure if there's anything on them, we get that off. I do not want to dry that. I want that moisture left right inside or right around that potato. That moisture is going to turn to steam, and that's going to help soften the skin of your potato. It's going to just help steam that potato a little bit. So you just want to roll it up tight. Wherever your seam is should be the top of your potato when it's laying on your baking sheet. Then you just want to take the end, crunch it up, and fold it up. Same on the other end. That way your seam is on top and your ends are folded up. That will keep the potato juice in there and not let it seep out. So, these potatoes are ready to go in. We will put them in the oven on 350. Because these are smaller, I'll probably leave it about 45 minutes. A larger potato, sweet or white, I would leave about an hour at 350. After that 45 minutes with these, I'm going to turn it down to 170, and we'll bake them for about 2 hours. I'll check them. If I feel like they're not quite ready, I may leave them another hour. It won't hurt them. So we'll be back when these are ready to come out of the oven, and we'll show you what they look like. I think our sweet potatoes are done. I can feel them. You can see when I push on them, They are pretty soft, so they should be ready to go. Now, all we have to do is, ouch, that's hot. Open it up and put on it whatever we like to top it. Now, you can do a sweet potato a lot of different ways. I prefer mine just with butter and brown sugar. But Melissa likes hers with butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon. Ooh, look at the steam coming off that. I don't care for the cinnamon on mine. I can eat it with the cinnamon, but I prefer it just with butter and brown sugar.
Put like marshmallows. I'm not a big marshmallow fan for that. I mean, I like marshmallows, okay, but
that's a
not
good point.
necessarily.
A lot of restaurants you go to, they will sell you a, what do they call it, where they pile it?
Charge it a loaded.
Loaded sweet potato, and yeah, it's got marshmallows and all kinds of stuff on it. That's just, ooh, it's hot. That is not the way we like it. I guess we're minimalist. But I just like to open it up, get some butter. And of course, our butter's at room temperature. It will melt a lot faster that way. I think I'm only going to do half of this right now. But here you can see how it's melting. That is hot. And we'll just kind of mash that butter right down into that potato. That is so soft and creamy. How long did we bake these?
Oh my goodness.
3
hours?
Yeah, about 3 hours. We started with 45 minutes at 350. And then we did 170 for about, I don't know, another 2.5 hours or so. It was at least a total of 3 hours, maybe just a little more. Look at that. Look how creamy that is. And that's because we didn't poke a hole in it, so all the moisture stayed in the potato. You know what? This is going to be plenty for me.
Yeah, I was thinking I'll do my half.
I'll probably save, actually you could have this half and we'll save the other one for tomorrow or another day. It's creamy because we didn't poke a hole in it and let all the moisture out, and because we baked it low and slow. So, all right, I'm going to put my brown sugar on it. Let that start to melt a little bit. Just a little bit of brown sugar. I know what some of you are thinking. A little bit? That's a lot. I know. But I like brown sugar on it. Okay. And then I'm just going to work that down in there too. Get it all the way down in my potato. Yum. And let me tell you, this is a meal. Especially if you ate the whole thing.
Your dad used to call it his dessert.
Yeah, that's true. My dad loved sweet potatoes. And when he lived here with us for several years after my mom passed away, and when I would fix sweet potatoes, he would say, don't bring mine out yet. Just leave it in the oven. I'm going to have it at the end for my dessert. And that's what he did. He loved it for dessert. All right. I think I better try a bite. You want to try a bite?
I'm going to fix mine with some cinnamon in a minute. But
okay.
That's hot, I'm sure.
It is hot. I can still see the steam. Man, it smells so good. Wow. It's like eating sweet potato cream. That is really good. I might need the whole thing. Thank you so much for watching our videos. We really do appreciate that you come and watch our videos and leave really nice comments. And it makes us happy when we know that other people are enjoying our food. If you would, go right below the video over here on the left side and click the thumbs up for us. That just says you liked it. On the right side, if you've not already done it, would you please click the subscribe button and the little notification bell that's beside of it, and then click the word all. That just subscribes you to our channel for free. Doesn't cost anything, just so that you're members of our channel. And then if you would, please share our videos. there's a share button right below the video here. Remember that Melissa always puts the typed recipe in the description box right under the video. So if you click where the title is, it'll expand that box and there's a written recipe there. All right, thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate you being here. Remember, you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day.